October 3rd, the board review meeting. I'd like to get Mr. Hicks to say the pledge and Mr. Doctor to say the prayer. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Join the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. All right. Let's go to number 3, board review, global single LLC 140001850. That's one company there, right? Derek?
Yeah, it's one company. I think there looks like, it looks like we got about from A through G for cell towers.
Okay.
And I think is that 3 different companies, or are they all they all represented by the same?
All represented by the same. It's three different companies.
Or someone to go through and just represent because they're not here, and hear the assessor out, and
Okay.
they'll make a determination.
All right, talk to us.
All right, let's go with global signal acquisitions. The way the assessor assesses these towers is based on the original cost, less depreciation.
Can you, Mr. Orson, yeah.
Yeah.
The way the assessor's office assesses towers is from the actual cost, original cost, less depreciation. In 2008, Global Signal introduced a cost of $167,310. Through 2009 through 2010, they registered a cost of $77,550. In 2011 through 14, it rendered a cost of $38,250. In year 2015, they rendered a cost of $145,500. And from 16 to 19, they rendered a cost of $90,000. We've always used the original cost to assess these towers, unless we get something from them saying that it's not a deed or an appraisal. But that's what we've always done.
And they've never protested these before.
This is the first time protest?
Yeah.
Not that I know of.
Orson is basically that's going to be all of these, right?
Yes, sir.
These are all
That's
assessed in
each one of these
same
are
way,
the same way.
And I mean, all that they sent to us was just the form 3101. It says, the assessor's assessment and what they're requesting, what they think it should be assessed at. But they're not here, and I don't think this is going to be difficult.
So you didn't adjust no layers or nothing at that time? You just left it like it was and let it go?
Left it like it was originally.
Does it cost less than depreciation?
Cost less depreciation. That's what it
Is that a formula you go on?
is. Yes, sir. We have the,
I sent it to Mary. It's,
Yeah, y'all should have.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's-
should have it.
It was the first copy.
All right.
And I see where he is, he is highlighted, where they provide the highlighted pictures for cellular and, leasehold improvements, and highlighted the towers, cellular, PCS, 20 years, so.
Seems to me it wasn't important enough for them to send somebody down there and discuss it.
And if the assessor agrees that basically this is how he's assessed all of these, then there's, and without any, we just have the appeal they filed, which is, I recommend you go with the assessment.
Is that A through G or A through F?
Hold up. That would be on A.
On A.
That's only on A, huh?
On A. On B, we have a little
B, C, D.
variety.
So do we need to look at each one, Orson?
Not ATC, from ATC,
Through,
G-
through,
G-
through, F,
yeah.
or through GTP?
from B to, let's go from B to F. And we'll take
So
care.
make a, so if y'all wanna do it, take action on A, and then we can look at B through G, and, you know, each one is, he sees fit, so.
Okay. All right, so I need a motion on A to accept the assessors or not accept it.
Yeah, it would be to accept, to accept the assessment, assessment, as he's presented it, and we'll notify them that they can take the next step.
I got a motion by Mr. Hicks, second by Mr. Beard, all in favor? Any opposed? I think the motion passed. Okay, let's go to B, ATC South LLC, 1100000200.
If you look at that property, active property list, that's included in your packet. This was in 2007. They rented a building, or two buildings, leasehold improvements, and a guided tower. Since then, they've never said that any of this stuff is gone. That's the way we always do it. If they render it, if they remove it, they need to notify us and tell us. Send us something saying that it's either been disposed of, sold, removed, scrapped. If they don't send us anything, we leave it on.
So they haven't sent you any information stating that any towers were removed, damaged, destroyed, or out of the parish?
No, it's not the towers. I'm more concerned with the leasehold improvements and the buildings.
It's not towers?
What, it is the towers, but they're more concerned with the buildings that they're being assessed for and the leasehold improvements.
Okay.
That's what they're protesting is
Right.
that they assess the buildings.
Yeah.
So none of these towers on these 5 properties are there? All these towers are gone?
No, they're all there. You know, you'll notice when you pass a tower and you look at it, at the bottom of the tower, they're gonna usually have a building, usually it's a DuPont building, where they have equipment inside there. They're gonna have a fence around it, they're gonna have signage. These are the leaseholds, a lot of them have air conditioners and generators. These are things they have to keep those electronics inside the buildings cool.
So all these towers have a building sitting at the bottom?
That's where they were rendered. That's what was rendered to us.
That's what y'all found? Did y'all go out and look at them personally?
Not at each one, no, sir.
So we're just taking their word that they,
Yes, sir.
or are you just assuming they have a building?
Not all of them are assessment buildings.
So we don't know if there's a building here or not?
No,
Yeah,
sir.
I think it's
If they took them out, they would have taken them out during the year, and because they were assessed on them previously, and they've been paying their, you know, taxes according to the previous assessment. So would that be correct, Orson?
Yes.
Because they've never protested anything before, so.
So we got a protest, and you didn't send anybody out to look at any of them?
Well, we looked at the one on Shawnee, right there north of Chesons, and they've got a building and they got a lot of equipment sitting there on that location and a fence.
So but we're not on that one no more, we're on the ATC South.
Right.
No one's been to these to verify?
No, sir.
Is that protocol that they supposed to report?
It's a self-reporting state.
They're supposed
They're
to
supposed to
report when they
report.
remove stuff.
They did report them, but they have not reported them since.
I mean, they reported them.
And if you look at that 2007 list, this one here,
This, is that that's the last page? Here it is, this one. Yes, it's not. Front to front right here, you good.
Is that one, right?
No.
no, sir, this one.
This is all back in 98 stuff? 98, 2001?
Yeah, this is, it was just, it printed out differently, but that's the active property list. It's just, it's the same, it's up. So it's got it in landscape.
Oh,
Yes. Let me ask you a question. You originally, assessed when you looked at it, right? You assess it one time, when it's new.
Yes,
When would you assess it again?
all 1 year.
So you assess every year?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you assessed it every year when you've seen it, or somebody went out?
We went by their rendition, which is what they rendered to us, what they told us was there.
So we really wouldn't assess again until they told us they had a significant change or removal, right?
Right. If they would call, if they would
I'm
send
with
it,
that. I just want to make sure that if we don't have something in between, we're not required to have it. Okay. Another question. See, these prices are up and down and all over. How does that, is that stuff they sent you? Or is that stuff you sent?
which one are you looking at?
Well, all of them. I mean, like 1 year be high and the next year it was low.
That's the way they send it to us.
Okay.
Sometimes they render the original cost. Sometimes they'll render fair market value. What makes it go up and down like that?
But that's their stuff. I mean, not just something you.
No, sir. That's the way they render it to us. We don't change it from the original cost.
Well, yours would be kind of almost consistently down, because every year's going to depreciate.
That's right.
Okay. And that's why I would have thought I would have saw something in that gradients, not up and down and all over the place.
No, you'll see on some of these other ones where they reported 1 year it'd be 167,000, the next year it might be 120,000, then it might go down to 38,000, and then you get one for 147,000.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't, I don't know what they're doing with these towers.
Yeah, how's that change?
I don't know.
That's on their rendition. Your assessment stays at what you originally assessed that, then you depreciate it every year. You send, that's their assessment that goes in, and the taxes are calculated on that assessment, and they have never protested that until now. Because they're claiming that basically it's not there anymore, but they've never sent you anything.
They don't
It's
say that.
removed.
They haven't sent us anything.
So your appraisal and assessment has been normal business practice accepted throughout the state of Louisiana?
And I'll unlock
Throughout
the
cameras, yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Without opposition and somebody to explain to us where they're at, I don't see we have any choice but to go with what you asked.
Well, one of the questions I have is, they're saying they removed some of this stuff, but we haven't sent nobody out there. But yet we're gonna tax them for a full amount. What did we do, what did you do for homework to verify that the buildings are there to tax them?
I didn't get We haven't had a chance to go out. I say we went by and looked at that Shawnee because it's close.
That's a totally different company.
Totally different company, correct. We just haven't had time to go out and check. I've talked to the
You're talking
man.
on 5, right? Kirby? The 5.
Yeah, on the five.
Yeah, the ATC side.
I mean, we have no idea. I mean, this one right here, Department River Road, Grand Chenier, that's local. Well, that might be a little far drive, but, I mean,
Who wouldn't check, you wanna know who wouldn't check the, see what's there on site?
I mean, 183 Mildred Street here in Cameron, nobody's looked at that tower?
Which one?
Cell tower located at 183 Mildred Street here in Cameron.
Not yet, but we are.
537 Davis Road in Cameron. I know where that's at.
Down there, and they got equipment down there.
Just my thoughts is we're gonna send out something that nobody, and they're saying that they removed it, but we haven't verified it until they protest the tax. I mean, like I said, nobody's here.
And just their protest, unless they receive something else, is just a form saying they're protesting it. They didn't send any backup with it.
As to why.
I mean, so if they sent the assessor something and said they removed it, they didn't send that to us.
They should have sent something, these pictures or something showing that there's nothing there no more,
I mean,
you know?
they'll be able to take this protest to the tax.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, and they should probably provide that evidence. And I mean, they may be able to, and of course, I don't want to speak, I mean, they may be able to provide you with something now, and you may change it. I mean, is that
That's correct. That's correct.
I'll make a motion for B, C, D, E, and F.
Second. Motion by Mr. Clark, second by Mr. Falk, all in favor? All right, go to G, EPT Infrastructure, I, LLC, T, 130003270. That's a Creo.
This is another cell tower.
Another cell tower, represented by the same people.
Is anybody here with them?
no, they're all represented by the same.
See, this one is 39, 34, 29, 18, come back to 80.
Yeah, I don't know how that happens. That's equipment, you know what I'm saying, that's a half day, you know, what do you have? But it goes down, goes up, down. Well, this one here is pretty consistent, it's steady.
And then it hits up in 2019.
Change that.
But they gotta change the equipment. So
That's what it should look like, something like this. Yeah. But this here, you would think that they went in there and added something back in that thing, you know, to raise that value. But yeah, that should be, but it's only at 39, went to 18, and it went back up to 80.
You know why that's different, Orson?
I do not, the only thing I might think is maybe when they rented in 2011, they rented under the fair market value.
2018, it went up to 80,000. It went through another farm.
They weren't reassessed, were they?
Sir, nothing's changed.
Okay, eight Kennecook Gator Energy LLC, 12000007895.
And, Mr. Trevino?
Yes, right here.
Yes.
You ready for us?
Yeah, why don't we start with Orson, with the assessor and look at, you should have a packet from him concerning the Connecticut.
I included the request for additional obsolescence that Connecticut Energy Access is asking for. 1A is where they're asking for 11,600,000 in obsolescence.
So basically, just the assessment is 16,308,011, and the protested, the request, the adjustment are from Connecticut is $2.5 million. So
What's there?
it's $2,500,000. So that's what they're requesting the assessment be. And so they'll get into that. I just wanted to make that clear. That's the protest that we received, and that's
Now-
1A.
Partial acceptance, 11 million,
It's 16,308,000.
16 million, okay.
But the fair market value, we have at $16,308,011. We have applied 35% obsolescence to these assessments, so their current market value now is $10,600,207. On the copy of the assessment, you won't see that, but if you look in the right-hand side where you have a VO, or OV, stands for override. When we apply obsolescence, there's no column to enter the obsolescence. So we have to take the market value, enter the obsolescence, and enter the correct assessed value. You take the total 16,308,011 and multiply it times 65%, you'll come out with $10,600,207.
So did you take you took the highest amount or you took the lowest?
I gave 35%
Okay,
obsolescence.
okay, 35%,
Yes.
instead of taking how much? You could have took whatever you wanted, right?
Yes, sir.
But you took the lowest amount of 35%.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a few minutes. If you look at my summary, Connecticut's request for obsolescence is based off the purchase price. That's what they're claiming. A lot goes into that. There's the initial wire for $2.5 million, and they received earn-out payments at $300,000 a quarter, not to be less than 2.7, nor more than 5.2, and no more than 10 million. Okay. If I use that cost, it approximates to approximately $9,132,486 of obsolescence, or 56%. Now, based on that information and based on the The original plant was bought from Plains, and y'all heard this one before. And the original deal was the contract was for, and I'm not, was it Targa, Jay, or they flowed all the gas through the Plains plant. And somehow or another, the contract got turned around. Plains spent a bunch of money to upgrade the plant. And the contract got, Connecticut came into play someplace. I had it last time we come up there, but I didn't bring it. And ended up they couldn't operate the plant. It wasn't profitable enough for them to operate. So Connecticut come in and bought it, took it over. Now,
Question,
go ahead.
is the plant intended to be restarted? Did they buy it to run it, or did they buy it?
They have been running.
They're running now?
Not now.
Okay.
Not
They're
now.
not, they're not mothballed, they're not asking to remove off the tax roll as far as operating equipment?
They probably will next year.
Okay.
This is all based on what you've done, what your production, what your income was for the prior year.
And I'm asking that question because I have a lot of that in my area too.
Yes.
Plants are sitting there idle and just sitting there. I hate to see them go, but they're actually tearing one down now because they want to get it off the taxes and got to turn it back to where it was. Do we tax them at the same rate even though they're not running, or do we have a different type of assessment when it's just junk on them?
Obsolescence is based off the prior year's production.
Prior year?
Yes, sir.
So from prior year, your numbers are, the prior year they were running.
Prior year they were running. I have those numbers in here. If you look down at the bottom of the page, in 16 when they took over, or 2016, then net income was up 81%. In 2017, it was up 154% from 16. In 2018, it was up 732,000, or 670% from 2017. So, in all actuality, it looks like things are going in the right direction. Now, in 2017, we gave them obsolescence of 40%. And the net income was $95,070. 2018, the net income was up to $732,112, and I gave them 35%. On less volume.
Orson, so you estimate value, well, differently when a plant is under operations than when it's not?
Yeah, if a plant is shut down, we usually give them 50%.
And when they're operating, you go back to,
Cost less depreciation and any kind of obsolescence that they can bring to us. Any kind of proof of obsolescence.
so what's the argument here?
I think he's gonna, he'll,
What do you think?
so Orson, basically, your final assessment is the 16.
No, that's before the obsolescence.
So it's,
Our final value is $10,600,207.
That's with the 35%.
That's with the 35%.
oh, fair point,
The plant was
okay,
in
10,600,207,
operation
okay, we got it.
Right, there's no obsolescence figured in, it would be 16,308 over that.
Okay, so that's what the assessors rendered. I mean, now, I think,
side.
Let's hear that.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. My name is Jay Trevino. I'm a property tax consultant for Connecticut. Apologize for my voice. I've had some sinus problems the last couple of days, so I apologize for that. I think you got a package yesterday, the day before, that was supporting information that the market value of this property has been declining and resulted in the complete dissolution of the plant. In other words, as of July of this year, the plant is being dismantled. All the gas lines have been disconnected, and by the end, don't quote me on this, but they're saying by the end of the year, everything should be out of there. Now, when I say out of there, they're either trying to find a buyer for it, and then again, that's between, I think Plains is the one who's behind it all on the sale of the property and or getting rid of the equipment. Let me give you a little brief history as to what happened that Mr. Billings was alluded to. In July of 2016, Connecticut Partners purchased this property from Plains Gas Solution as a means of resolving a litigation between Tennessee Gas Pipeline, Plains Gas Solutions, and Connecticut. A suit arose from a breach of contract agreement between parties regarding the gas being processed through the plant, which interfered with Plains contracts and producers. Included in the purchase agreement, we were given the responsibility for any property tax matters. During the 2016 assessment review process, the Cameron Parish assessor requested documentation to the effective date of the sale of the property between parties. There was no discussion of the purchase price since the sale did not affect the current year assessment. Connecticut's appeal that year was for the assessor to consider obsolescence in addition to physical depreciation required by the LTC guidelines in assessing properties. At the Board of Review, which is here, the sale price became the issue, and regardless of the sale date and information submitted for any reductions was dismissed. We appealed to the LTC and we were granted a reduction based on the information provided. The sales price was disregarded due to the timing of the purchase, which was after the January 1 lien date for assessment. Now, for tax years 27 and 2018, we have been provided information to the assessor in an attempt to get some relief in the assessment. The down payment of the purchase price was made available. The complete purchase price was unknown until the earned out payment were made available. Now, to give you an example of the earned out payment, when when Connecticut bought the plant, they had a $2.5 million down payment on it. And like you said, up until July of this year, Connecticut was to pay Plains Gas Solutions either $300,000 per quarter. Depending on the gas situation, if the gas was good, they would get more money. If it was less, they would try to bring it forward to the next month. And I did include a copy of the earn out payment in the packet. These payments did not become final until this year. We also provided the delivery utilization rate of the facility and the yearly income flows. Now currently, as I said earlier, the Gator plant was officially shut down. The equipment has been disconnected from any gas source and is being dismantled. PSG has been attempted to find a buyer for the equipment, but to no avail. There are currently 2 bids for the removal process. 2 bids, $150,000 for one and $175,000. That includes the salvage value of the equipment. In other words, they're willing to pay $150,000 or $175,000 as is, and they take everything out. We don't make one red cent on trying to sell the equipment. That's what they're going to charge. We had a meeting September 23rd here with the assessor to review the assessments and provide information. And then, like I said, enclosed is the information that we submitted to Mr. Billings. 2 key personnel of the company were present to answer questions pertaining to the failed attempt to keep the plant operational. Now, to go over the exhibits that I provided, the one that really is what we refer to as fair market value has to do with with Exhibit 5. And basically what we do on something like this is we want to make sure the assessor understands what the income is doing on the property and what kind of flow is coming into the plant. So in Exhibit 2, it'll give you the averages of the last 3 years since Connecticut took over. And the utilization percentage at the bottom of the line on Exhibit 2 will show what it was. Most importantly is Exhibit number 3. Here's the income stream that's happened since 2013 when Plains Gas Solution had the property. They made $1.327 million in 2013. In 2014, they lost almost $2 million because it went down to negative $438,554. In 2015, they even lost another $500,000 to $944,158. When we took over the property in 2016, we brought that income up, but not to the positive side, but we still lost $175,602. In 2017, yes, we thought we were taking the company or the plant back and we were going to make money on it, which we did to the tune of $95,000 plus. In 2018, everything was looking good, $732,112. Shortly thereafter, for 2019, the company was completely unavailable to pass that gas through. And in other words, you can see the revenues for as of July of 2019 went from 15 million in 2018 to July of 2019 went down to 5 million in revenues. So as of July of this year, the company had a negative $484,957. There's no way anybody can make any money in that kind of deals. So what I did was, okay, let's see what the Louisiana Tax Commission does to assess properties when it comes to something like this. We're going to do the income and we're going to do the cost. On the income approach, we cannot use a 5-year average like the LTC does. In our case, it was because we had a negative, and the LTCs does not use negative incomes. We had a 3-year average of $217,184, a 2-year average of $413,000, and a 1 year of $4,732. So to be almost flexible in the idea that the LTCs uses 5, okay, we'll go ahead and use 3 because that was the amount of time that we had to pay. So we're correlating a 3-year average of $217,194. The capitalization rate that the Louisiana Tax Commission uses on regulated pipelines was 11.4. And I think we're being very conservative on this plant. Normally, when the capitalization rate on a plant like this, and I would assume it would be around 13, 14, even as high as 15%. So when you have a high rate, you're going to have a low value. When you have a low rate, you're going to have a higher value. That's the way it works. So when I take the 217,000, capitalize it at 11.4%, I'm coming up with $1.9 million. This is what an investor would be looking for when they want to buy a piece of property. How much money are they going to make going forward? Based on this information, we look back, and we actually want to see what's going to happen in the future. So I said, okay, $1.9 million, that's how much this plant will be making. So on the cost approach, it's strictly original cost, like Mr. Billings was saying. You take the depreciation out and you come up with the market value. Then, okay, well, how much obsolescence was it? Well, we normally use the income approach where the rate of return is 11 and we're only getting 217,000. Well, I mean, we only, because you take that 217,000 and it's directly involved in the net plant. So if you take 217,000 and the net plant is 16 million, what percentage is that? Practically nothing. So I say, okay, we're going to take the obsolescence based on the 3-year average throughput of 20.86%, so we came up with an obsolescence of 12.9. So the cost approach is 3.4 million. Now you correlate those two numbers. Since the investor is willing to pay whatever kinds of money, you pour more weight on the income than you do on the cost. So in our case, and this is what the LTC uses, 60-40. So we buy 60% of $1,900,000, 40% of $3,400,000, comes up to $2.5 million, let's say, so that's $2.5 million. That's what we are saying that this plant was worth at that time. But now, after the first year and after July, the plant is gone. There's nothing there anymore. They couldn't make it. Even the earn-out period, the company net on the purchase of that price was $22,000. In other words, they paid $2.5 million, and they paid Plains Gas Solution, the earn-out, the total amount that Connecticut Gator plant made on this deal was $22,000 for the last 3 years. That is excluding the property tax. So if you add the 3 years of property tax that we paid on this plant, the net effect on Connecticut was over $600,000. Now, you say, well, why did they buy it for? That's a good question. If you take a plant and you go to a lawsuit, what's going to happen? If somebody comes in and says, if you don't, we're going to put a $100 lawsuit on you and you have to pay me $100 million, then nobody can do that. But whatever amount, especially when you don't have the money to do it. So in effect, to get out of a lawsuit and paying the big bucks to the lawyers, we decided to go ahead and take it and make it go at it. They tried, but it didn't happen. So here we are. When it's all said and done, we're in the hole, $650,000 plus. And now he wants to put another 10, 11 million on top of that for 2019, for 2019, knowing that in 2020, it's not going to be there. So what I'm saying, what does it work? Salvage value. If you ask me, if you go out there and somebody tells you, well, how much you going to ask me for this plant? I says, hey, I'll give you $150,000, $175,000 just to get it off your hands. Nobody wants to buy it. It's a 15, 20-year equipment in there. It's obsolete. Nobody wants to buy it. They probably use it for anchors maybe somewhere, but that's it. And what is it worth of steel and pipe and all that kind of stuff today? I don't know. But they know, those people that come in and give us a bid on what to get rid of this equipment, that's pretty much what we're going to get out of it. So there it is. That's the story. And we're hoping that we might get some agreement between you guys and see what is actually the actual value of this property. But nowadays, it's gone. It's not there. So to me, it's not worth anything. Thank you for your time, sir.
But the year that's in question is 2019?
2019 tax bill, which is based off 2018 income.
But knowing that the plant is being demolished in 2019, right?
Yes.
Taxing themselves for last year, all of last year's value, no.
The plant is not gone.
It's still there.
It's still there.
I understand, I don't understand how the assessment changes. I'm sure that's why we have assessors that are trained, because of how much money they do or don't make. Okay, because if I get assessed on a piece of property and I don't do anything with it, I still want to pay my assessment on my property, whether I make money off of it or not. I'm assuming for industry, there probably is a gradient rate that you would lessen it to the profit being made. But the calculations that you have, is it taking into consideration that they're not running, that they're shut down?
That they're shut down this year? No. If this loss that they're having this year would have been last year, and then this year they turned around and they were just making a lot of money, I couldn't use this year's, what they're making this year. I have to use what they made last year.
I understand.
So it's a,
So in 2018, they showed their profit was up 670% for that year. That's what you're showing?
Yes,
And that's the year that you're taxing them on, that year there,
correct.
the year the profit was up. So like this year coming in 2019, if they shut the plant down, you give them a 50%. If they dismount, you give them a 50% tax break for taxes they'll be paying in 2021,
Whatever's left,
right?
whatever's left on the location.
Yeah, whatever
If
that.
they remove everything,
Okay.
then you won't get any tax.
When did you assess the value of this land? Would they,
Oh, gee whiz.
does it matter?
When did I work the assessment? First part of this year.
I guess what I'm asking is, every year you go out to a particular site and do it,
It's what's rendered. It's what's rendered to us. That we do go to sites and do field inspections periodically at different sites.
to verify, right?
Right.
So basically, this is, you're assessing them on basically what they gave you.
Yes, sir.
Was this their last, is this their report? Was this what they submitted for this year?
Now, last year, y'all didn't.
Tax year
protest your taxes
2018.
last year, did you?
Excuse me?
Did you protest your taxes last year?
I think we protested it every year.
Every year.
No, not last year, we worked.
Last year wasn't?
No,
No, did they protest last year?
no, but they did the year before.
Well, they had the year before.
They may have filed protest, but we was able to work out an agreement.
Y'all worked out an agreement?
Yes, sir.
And you work on an agreement this time?
I'm working on it. They're asking for from 2.5 to 10.6 is a big,
Big difference.
it's a big gap.
And that's what we're looking at now.
And last year, well, for 2018, they were asking for, what I have that here.
%.
In 2018, they were asking for 66% obsolescence. I gave them 40. For 2019, with their net income up 670%, they're asking for 84%.
You give them 35?
And I gave him 35. On less volume, he's talking about the volume that the plant can flow and can't flow. If you look at the affidavit by Richard Psycho, he's an engineer that works for Connecticut. And I'll read his Gator plant. The Gator plant was constructed in two phases after the original plant was destroyed due to Hurricane Rita. Under phase one, a 300 million cubic feet propane refrigeration facility was constructed in 2006. And under phase two, a 300 million a day cryogenic turbo expander facility was constructed in 2007. The plant experienced the failure of two heat exchangers over an approximate 4-year period. The existing dehydration beds limits capacity of 300 million cubic feet per day for the entire plant. Due to the reduction in gas available to the plant, the heat exchangers were not replaced and 5 of the 6 compressors were removed. The current design capacity of the plant is 130 million cubic feet a day. It's not 300.
And that was done when? This year?
September 2018.
So they actually removed equipment in 18? You said took out, or they removed?
No, those were done, the plant experience doesn't say when those were removed. The failure of two heat exchangers over an approximately 4-year period. Dehydration bed limits capacity to 300 million cubic feet for the entire plant. Due to the reduction in gas available to the plant, the heat exchangers were not replaced, and 5 of the 6 compressors were removed. The current design capacity of the plant is 130 million cubic feet a day. That was in September 13th of 2018, according to this document.
Can I go ahead and comment something, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
The heat exchanger was, after it was taken out, it was gonna cost Connecticut over $1 million to put it back in. They knew the fact that the gas situation was, I mean, you can go back and look at the cost of gas going forward. Connecticut had, or has, a tremendous competition with the big boys. And now when I say the big boys, I'm talking about Tennessee Gas Pipeline, I'm talking about Oregon Pipeline, I'm talking about all these guys that are coming in. How can a small little company like that try to compete with those big boys when they can discount it to the max? So if we're gonna invest another $1 million on a heat exchanger, what is gonna be a rate or a return on that money? Knowing what's going on, and of course, you know, the fact that the throughput was coming out. I mean, there was no reasonable fact to do it. So they said, no, we won't do it. But he also questioned the fact that, oh, the revenues were high or the throughput was high. Let me give you something that I requested from the CFO from the company a couple of days ago. My question to him was a brief explanation how a lower throughput at the Gator plant contributes to higher revenues. And this is what he said. I'm going to quote what he said. I'm getting some frac spread and volume for you. Example, the customer injects 100 million MCF of gas that has a 1,200 MMBTU content. The numbers are for illustration only, he says. Once the plant processes out the liquids, the MCF volume is down to 900 MCF. We keep them whole by purchasing 100 MCF of gas to replace the loss in the processing. We then sell the liquids at market. So for example, if the gas is at $2.50 per MBTU, roughly equivalent to MCF, then we purchase 100 MCF at $2.50 or $250. Then say the liquid's value is $300. Then we would sell the liquids at $300 for a $50 gross margin on frac spread. The frac spread is therefore the difference between the gas lost in processing that we purchased and replaced and the liquids we retrieve and sell. So with a light frac spread, we can have declining values with increasing revenues. So there's and I think Mr. Billings and one of our officers from the company, when they were talking about the frac spread, how it works. Why are you saying that, why are the lower MBTUs and you're making more revenues? Well, there's your example. I mean, you can have, it all depends on what the price of gas is going through. And you know what's going on with the price of gas in the last couple of months? It's been coming down. It was at what, 250, 260, down is at what, 230 or something like that? Is it gonna get any better? I've been talking to the CFO and he keeps telling me the price of gas going forward, it looks dire. It's not going to be as good as it was. Now, granted, everything can change. Companies are doing the plants within there, they're fracking them and sending them out of the country. Hopefully it works. I don't know. But anyway, that's what they gave me, and this is what I presented to you guys.
So y'all still working something out here?
I called, no, we
Sorry?
haven't really,
You
haven't
have?
really discussed anything as of yet.
So y'all have,
My thought on this is that when their income was up and they were asking for 66%, and I gave them 40. And now their income was up, and they want more obsolescence. I just, I can't see that.
Didn't he just explain that?
Yeah, he did,
About,
he did.
Question, Mr. President. Mr. J,
Yes, sir.
at this point in time, y'all are asking for 2.5 million, which you know you're not gonna get. Is there a number figure
I'm not,
on the table?
no, whatever we, Mr. Billings and I decide has to be presented to the Connecticut's management. I can't say, yeah, we'll take it, no, we won't. But if they're willing, going forward, you know, like I said, the kind of money that they've lost in this project from the very beginning, it's very difficult for them to say, okay, we'll throw in another $200,000-300,000 on top of the $650,000 we've already lost to send this.
Well,
I don't know.
That is business.
Yeah, no, I don't, I hear
Yes, you
you.
know, looking at the income y'all had with the money y'all made over in 2017, 2018, I mean, you did what you did, evidently your expenses superseded your income.
But when you do an appraisal, like I said earlier, sir, would you not consider what's going on in the future as to, even though it's half a year?
This already happened, it's in the past.
Yeah, but we're looking at the future going on for what I'm trying to get is, we look at the past to predict the future as to what's gonna happen. If everything is fine, and we have an income stream that's high or level, I don't have any problem accepting those numbers. But when you go up and you say, okay, it looks good, but then all of a sudden the bottom falls out completely, I know that's life, but, so should you be,
But this is the problem I have with it. You made your money last year.
no, we didn't, we haven't made it, well, I hear you, yes, it's a flood, but when you take it into account, from 2016 to today, they haven't made any money.
I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow.
I don't
So
either.
I gotta plan for today only.
But I know this plant's not gonna be around, so they're gonna have a negative 600,000 plus.
I understand that.
So what, they're no longer selling, they're no longer producing. It is an inactive plant, they're gonna demo the plant.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman? Yes, sir. We know that the business went south, payout was probably expected to be over a 20-year period. I don't know what the business plan was. I understand that. Is there a way to prorate that from the point where it was good to now and come up with some kind of plan that would be acceptable to both of you, write it off, because they're gonna be averaging the plan out?
You looking at an average or something?
Yeah, but I mean, they were good till what, September? I mean, they knew what the taxes were, they knew what their assessment was, so they expected that as an expense. Business went south, I understand, but from that point forward, it's almost a wash because the business is defunct, if you will, and they're waiting to be taken out, correct?
What about the purchase price?
Purchase price was figured in your original business plan, though, you know?
Well, I mean, that was the whole deal in the first year that we made an appeal. They were adamant about wanting to know what the purchase price was. And I said, we can't tell you. I know we paid 2.5 million, but the earnout wasn't gonna be available for 3 years. So how can I tell you, oh, this is now we know what the purchase price is. It's 7.1 million. And even though we paid that much money, they lost a ton of it too. So what is fair market for that plant? Is it $16 million? Is it $11 million with an obsolescence? Is it 7.5? Or what I'm saying is 2.5. It's not gonna be there tomorrow. So, hey, I mean, how do you divide it in half? You take this and this is my high, this is my low. If you can give me something that I can take back to my client, we'd be more than glad to sit down and talk about it.
Is that something that's possible?
But you have to make but you have to make a decision today whether to accept the assessment or to come up with another assessment or let the tax commission decide. And that is the option that they have, is they go to the tax commission and let them decide what degree, what's the purchase price, what degree of obsolescence they should get, and do you base the fact that it's being, dismantled or whatever, in this current.
Well, I apologize, I'm not a tax expert, and I don't think any of us are. So without that, and the dispute is heavily heated like it is, I suggest we do then go to the tax commission and let people that know about tax breaks. I make it.
Second.
Motion by Mr. McGee, to let it go to the tax commission, and second by Mr. Fox. All in favor? Motion passed.
That motion is to accept the assessor's assessment of this.
Okay, you want now, Darrell?
Y'all have accepted the assessment as submitted by the assessor.
By going to the tax commission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got the right.
All right, go to the tax commission.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah. I mean, we accept our assessment, and go from there. All right, let's go to number 4,
Thank you.
accept the 2019 tax roll. All right? Yeah.
What they have given us is the assessment, the assessed tax roll for 2019. And I'll let them go through it, and then we will approve that, and they can explain what that we, it's like we got more money to deal with this year, so I'll let them do it.
Here. Total. The total tax for 18 was $39,447,539 in 18. In 19 is approximately 10 million more than 18. It's $49,492, $818.59. The taxpayer tax for 2019 is $47,749,820.82. Whereas in 18, it was $37,721,371.76.
Are any of these, anybody challenging these?
No. If they would have been here today, so.
Yeah, nothing
So-
else, it's just.
Don't have any questions?
Any questions for us on the tax roll?
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Second. Motion by Mr. Parks accepted, second by Mr. Quinn. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion accepted. All right. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn, we approve. Mr. Billings.
Yes, sir. Unless y'all have other questions.
Anybody have any more questions? Tax? All right, meeting adjourned. Take a 5-minute break, Darrell.
Yeah, let's take a few minutes, get everything together, and cover them out.
Take a little break.
No.